What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got the state of play. Let's talk about everything you need to know about it, and then we'll go into my predictions and expectations for the event. Spoilers, I do think, honestly, it is going to be a pretty big one. I think, the length of time is obviously quite big. Now, you could show a whole lot of nothing in a ton of time, but I really think the stage is set for them to do one of the bigger state of plays, and they already reveal with Saros, what's going to happen there. But let's read over it, and then again, we'll go over what I think about it and what I think is going to be there, not going to be there, etc. So tune in this Wednesday for more than 35 minutes of reveals and news from developers around the world. We'll share new looks at anticipated third-party and indie titles, plus updates from some of our teams at PlayStation Studios, including an extended look at Saros, Housemarque's mysterious new title arriving next year. Look forward to nearly 5 minutes of gameplay captured on PS5. They give all the times, and we are off to the freaking races. So, number one, I won't be able to co-stream this. It's right around the time, and this generally goes for these PlayStation events, right around the time I pick up my daughter. She's getting older, so eventually, when she jumps schools and stuff, I will be able to co-stream these once more, but for now, can't do it. But I will be watching. I actually will be watching live, and I'll do videos directly after the event ends. Okay, so in terms of what we know, Saros obviously is locked in 5 minutes. To be honest with you, I'll say two things. One, it's less time than I thought, but it's also kind of a perfect time. And I don't say it as like a cop-out, like I have to bow to my savior in PlayStation. I thought when we saw Saros again, I guess I should have always assumed it would be at a state of play, but I always assumed when we saw it again, it would be like kind of meaty. I mean, we got the state of play a little while ago on Ghost of Yotei, and that was, I think 14 minutes, 15 minutes, so it was a pretty good length of time, and it showed quite a few different things with Yotei. But when it comes to Saros, 5 minutes, honestly, that's good, because I think really all we need is like what I think it's going to be kind of a hybrid of Returnal, and if you play Returnal, you can really feel so many of their other games, even like a Nex Machina, if you played that game back in the day, which is a phenomenal Housemarque game, very underrated, but they've made a lot of them, and Returnal kind of feels like that. So Saros, I've always expected it to kind of feel like an evolution of Returnal, but slightly different. And 5 minutes, I mean, look, you can probably get that info across to me in 2 minutes, to be honest with you. So that one is locked in. And then what else do we got? So look, I think Ghost of Yotei is a lock, right? It comes out next week, and the review scores drop this Friday. So I know, like, you could argue maybe we don't want it, maybe we don't need it. I think those are technically valid. It's just, I think, it's their next big thing. And it is a huge thing, and it literally releases next week. So I don't think you can do a state of play without showing, like, hey, well, what's your next big release? Oh, it comes out, like, next Friday or whatever. So that one I think would be locked in. I would also like to throw in Stellar Blade. It's one that I don't actually still see people talking about. Stellar Blade, we know for sure, has an announcement this week. Now, I think it could be a Tokyo Game Show. I actually still haven't checked if they're even going to Tokyo Game Show, but whether it's a Silent Hill collab, whether it's a Resident Evil collab, I think it's got to be one of those two. I mean, it originated from PlayStation. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to show Stellar Blade off, in whatever that announcement, big or small. I think it would be more on the small side, but I think that would definitely make sense for an event like this. When it comes to third parties, I saw a lot of people, and I don't really keep track of myself, but I've seen others. Digimon is one that I think has appeared in like the last 2 or 3 state of plays, so that's one that, I mean, I've only seen like other people say it, but the game also comes out next week. Ghost of Yotei comes out, and then Digimon comes out a day later, so I think Digimon, really, when it comes to those third-party games, I would kind of think about the games that are coming in the next like 2 months. So, I mean, maybe like Dispatch does come out on PlayStation, and I know we got like the release trailer, but like I feel like that would be a candidate at least. I think Little Nightmares 3 could kind of have one more trailer in it, right? Think like the October, November games is kind of where my mind goes with that stuff. Okay, then on to some of like the bigger predictions, right? So Wolverine is something that I really think it's going to happen. I really do. I think it's what we've constantly said over and over again. It really needs to happen. It's been 4 years. This September, it's been 4 years since we've seen the thing. It's not a good look, okay, when something like that happens. So I really think it's going to be there. Obviously, rumors kind of back it up, but obviously that doesn't mean too much until you actually see it. I do think Wolverine, and I will say, I mean, in terms of prediction there, besides just seeing it, I would not be shocked to see like 2026 at the end of the trailer. As I've said in past videos, I think if you're going to show Wolverine, it doesn't really make much sense to show it after 4 years to then say, okay, we're going to go on like a 2 or 3 year hiatus again, right? If you're showing it, that probably means it's releasing within the next year. That's what I've been saying for the last couple months. So if they do show it, I think it probably comes out maybe by like next summer, next fall, maybe like where Ghost of Tsushima came out that July back in 2020, or like Spider-Man spot, September, October kind of situation, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. So that's kind of where I think Wolverine maybe lands. So that would be one thing. Phantom Blade Zero is another one. PlayStation ties again there as well, right? So I do think that makes sense, and that needs a release date. We've heard constantly from them that they are going to give a release date, even though it's coming out next year. They're going to show the release date before the end of this year. I always kind of thought like Game Awards or something, but I feel like because of, again, those PlayStation ties, it makes sense to do it here. I've thrown out Resident Evil as a possibility to kind of jump back to like a third-party thing. We've heard about like the Leon rumors and just Resident Evil in general. You know, I don't think it's because Capcom has like reconfirmed what games are going to Tokyo Game Show, and I don't think Resident Evil is going, even though I thought that was confirmed a while ago, but I guess not. So if the rumors are true that Leon is being revealed this week, Capcom might not be showing it at Tokyo Game Show. So there's only one other place to do. I mean, here's the thing. If we can get out of this state of play with like Wolverine and one of the third-party things being the Leon reveal for Resident Evil, that would be freaking sick. And you'd have Wolverine and you'd have Saros. And then, okay, can you do anything else for PlayStation? So let me just rapid fire. Marathon, I've seen rumors that say it's not going to be there. I don't really need it there. I wouldn't be shocked if it's there, okay? But I do not need that game to show up. Then that's just my own biasness, I guess. Games that I enjoy, don't enjoy, whatever. The God of War game, I do think that's going to be there, the Metroidvania one. So I would predict that is one of them. And then you really get, and this is kind of where I always go with these videos, right? You really get to that big unknown. Like Wolverine is a pretty, at least we can be more confident than we've been in the past. Saros is literally confirmed. The God of War thing seems like there's enough there that you can kind of lock, or get close to, let's say, locking that in. Marathon's 50-50. Well, after that, you really have the things like Intergalactic. You know, I know people have looked at, like Neil Druckmann has changed his profile, the header on Twitter and stuff. So, I mean, there has been movement, I feel like, where they could show something. I feel like an event that begins or ends with a Naughty Dog announcement would be, along with Wolverine, God of War, and Saros, that would be a pretty freaking cool event. I don't think I'm there. To be honest with you, my expectation is kind of what I said. Like Wolverine, God of War, Saros. If you give me another first-party thing, that would be the cherry on top. You know, but just for what I'm expecting or thinking could be there, I would say those three, and then some of the third-party stuff that I had mentioned. But, you know, I think Intergalactic, 50-50. Like, it would be a nice time to show off whatever the second game Naughty Dog is doing, like the smaller projects. So I just don't think this is the place. But hey, prove me wrong, right? Cory Barlog, of course, that name always pops up. Like, that's the, you know, Bend and Blue Point and these things that, like, eventually are going to happen. Just they don't have the highest odds. Of course, I'd like to throw in the 0.01% chance of Sly Cooper. And I would also like to throw in Twisted Metal. Like, we have let the show pass us by twice now with season 1 and 2. I know there was the game, I know it was canceled, but, you know, can we get a Twisted Metal? Like, that would be like the Hail Marys, the ones that would like break me as an individual in all the best ways. Sly Cooper, Twisted Metal. Of course, Sly would be number one always, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Some third-party games that are very, very like upcoming, about to release. Maybe if you want to do like a further away third-party game. I haven't really even put much thought into GTA. I guess that's one you could bring up. Like, that would be quite the Hail Mary for third-party games, right? But I'm thinking when it comes to third-party stuff, it's just the games that are coming very, very soon. If you do the Hail Mary, I think Leon in Resident Evil, that's your really, really good one, right? Like Bond, we know that day. You try to think of like, well, what is like the first half of next year? To be honest, it is actually a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of unknown next year in terms of release dates. You know, we could have 15 games that come out in the spring. We know like 3 of their dates right now. So hard to kind of, figure out which one's almost ready to be shown and which one isn't. And then, the first party stuff is the first party stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I'll have videos all day tomorrow. We'll go through whatever is shown, and I hope to see you there.